Howdy, here we are live again. I gotta shut that door, get the cat out here. I'll be with you in a second. I almost wasn't ready for this. Had everything lined up and got busy with something else. Came back, looked at the screen, and I had about 40 seconds to showtime. So here we are anyway. Now, I'll get to the title of the video here in a little bit. But first, I'll go through, say hi to everybody. Got Cynthia Wesley. Put my glasses on here quick. You might be able to hear the air conditioner going in the background. I turned it down on low. It was hotter than hell and humid for the last couple of days. In the mid 90s and about 100% humidity, so the heat indexes were up around 107, 110, depending on where you were. It's not nearly as hot today, but we still got all the humidity, so I'm going to let the air conditioner keep doing its thing. Anyway, Rick Green, Hog Wild Cast Iron, Billy Lee, Mark Sieber, good to see you. Dan, I said hi to Cynthia. Fuzz, he's here. Jim, nice to see you. Let's see here. Anyone find anything cool lately? A few things here. We'll get to them. Number 12-inch camp oven. Those are always nice to find. I got a big cast camp oven sitting over in the corner over there. I got to get around to cleaning that up. I got it cheap, but it's sticky as hell. You can hardly stand to pick the damn thing up. Once you do pick it up, it's almost impossible to get your hands off of it. I need to find a really stained up one to do a video on ways to clean them. You know, there's other ways for enamel. Yeah. I've always had good luck simmering baking soda in them. Fill them up with water just about to the top. Add maybe a quarter cup of baking soda, depending on how big it is. And let that simmer for a while. And it seems to really take stains off of enamel really good. I like the Paula Deen pot. Yeah, I like the design of Paula Deen stuff, but everything of hers that I've seen has been about twice as heavy as it really needed to be. But they got some really nice designs anyway. Damn it. Forgot to turn my keyboard off. And guess where the cat has to be? Let's see, Rick Green, Handsome Stone. Nice to see ya. Cooking for the wildlife. Yeah. Browning up dinner in your favorite Miami. Got the regular favorite last week. Interesting how the dual logo has a straight-sided heat ring instead of the rolled edge like the regular. Yeah, I think they used the old Miami I got has a straight side too. I'm not sure why. I would have to look at the favorite best to cook in logo one that I have and see if that has a straight heat ring on it. They might have used the older patterns for the Miamis. I haven't really looked that close, and I don't feel like getting up and looking at it now. Got itchy nose again. Never itch until the stream starts. Anyway, let me get caught back up here on the comments. Debbie, Melanie Matson, Corey Clark. Kind of zipping through here. Cast Iron Resort. Tessa Reed, nice to see you. Geez, you guys really took off with Flash. Nice to see you. Natchez River Catfishing, Farm Boy. Other days 113, dropped to 80 in 30 minutes. Yeah, a big storm will do that. Had some storms go through last night, and it wasn't too bad. Nothing really severe, but a fair bit of wind and rain. Like I said, it dropped the temperature, but not the humidity, so it was still pretty soggy outside. You sold your Griswold chicken fryer for $200. Thanks for your advice. Well, thank you. It's pretty good. You got pretty good money for it. Found a Wagner number 4, a little too high for you. They're usually not as expensive as the Griswold number 4s. And I've seen some Griswold large logo number 4s going for a lot less than they normally do lately. I don't know why. They just seem to do that. Don't start biting, you silly cat. You're going to attack, ain't you? Try to be nice to you. Anyhow, you love your Paula. Yeah, like I said, most of us got really nice designs to it. But listen, you're out. You're going to do that. Chew it on my hand. Anyway, sounds like we're looking on Goodwill and other places. Behave. Whoops. Well, see what happens. My understanding, the favorite wasn't the same as favorite stove. No, they weren't. But the favorite best to cook in, as far as I know, was Peakware favorite stove. In fact, I think it says favorite Peakware. No, I do have to get the damn thing down just to have a look here and see. I actually got that cracked one right over here. There we go. What I was talking about was favorite Peakware, the best to cook in, and yeah, that does have a straight edged heat ring on it. So since the Miamis were a discount brand made by Favorite, they might have used the older best to cook in patterns for their Miamis. And I think, if I remember right, the Miamis also had the distinct rim on them, and a little bit more of the reinforcement showing on them. So yeah, it's a good chance they used the older best to cook in patterns for the Miami skillets. I have a couple Renfro wares made in Los Angeles. Yeah, I just recently got hold of a Renfro skillet. Before that, all I'd ever seen were Renfro Dutch ovens. But it's a number 5 skillet. I've seen pictures of number 8s, so I'm assuming there's probably number 3s as well. But that was the first Renfro skillet I'd ever come across, so I picked that up. But the Dutch ovens are really nice. They tend to be a little bit bumpy and pebbly on the outside, but the insides are just beautifully machined on the ones I've seen anyway. All nice, really nice, glassy, smooth. They take seasoning good. If you're going to be up here, you're going to behave, ain't you? Silly cat. But anyhow, we'll get on with some of the 3 guesses where that cat sleeps at night. I keep her locked out of the bedroom because I know damn well she'll do it. I saw a Wagner 1400 square lid for 100 and the bottom for 100. Had to work over and miss both of them. Oh, that's a shame. That's it's a good price for the 2 of them, $200 for the set. It is a pretty reasonable price for them. Found the BSR Red Mountain with huge ears. Anyway, I was asked a couple of questions about some of the gate marked. I showed a gate marked skillet last week, and that's a fancy handle, they call those. And you can see that the handle comes up higher than the rim of the pan. The fancy handles and the handles higher than the outside of the pan usually are made around 1850, 1890, 1900 in there. Some makers kept on into the 1900s making skillets like this, or at least this style. But generally the gate marked ones like that, generally 1880 to 1900. Now earlier ones from 1880 back into the 1860s, the handle tended to come straight off the side of the pan. And earlier still, they called them rat tail skillets. They had pretty much a square tapered handle on them that came off the side of the skillet a little ways down lower. So that's kind of an easy way to tell the age of a gate marked skillet, roughly. Like I said, most of the gate marked stuff you're going to find is going to be something like that. There might be an initial, might be a number, size number, an initial or two on it, but that's about it, and nobody really knows who made most of them. But the Marietta, PA, this is that pot I showed you. Marietta, PA stuff was marked, gate marked, but it was marked. There's a couple of different names on them. This is an MH and E. There's also R and Company. I think one more, but I'm not exactly positive. But they both say Marietta, PA on it. That one's 713, 7-quart. Nice little kind of bulge skillet or bulge pot. And this one has EJ on it, or maybe that's an L. Looks like a backwards J, but that has probably the maker's mark. But I'm not sure if the Marietta skillets, they all use pretty similar lettering, whether it's M&H, R and Company, whoever. So it could be one foundry made these for several different companies, or it could be several different foundries made them. I'm not sure, and this is kind of an interesting question, but there is some brand named gate mark stuff out there, but most of the stuff you're going to find is going to be unmarked. Might have an initial on it, and that's about it. Now, the stuff I got, what I got that was so terribly interesting, what I wanted, well, first I'll show you the listing here on Goodwill, where I got it from. Share screen. I'll allow that. There we go. I'll bring this up. I'll hold it here. Go here. Pioneer Woman and Other Iron Skillets grab bag. And the thumbnail for it was pretty much this one. Nope, it was with everything facing the right side up. Flip through it quick. What I wanted was this ingot mold down here. Let me get caught up back on my comments here. There we go. Anyway, what I wanted was this ingot mold down here. The Pioneer Woman skillet. I like Pioneer Woman. They're a nice design. Even the smaller ones usually have helper handles on it. the quality kind of varies. They're an import. They're fair to middling skillets. Nothing wrong with them. And that's a number three of some sort by the look of it, because I know there's no measurements given, but I know these lead ingot molds are usually 6, 7, 8 at the most inches long. So I know that these were both probably about a 3 and a 5. Get down here and show you the next one. There's a little close up of the Pioneer Woman skillet. There's the inside of the smaller one. There's the ingot mold, and there's everything upside down. Now I can tell from what you can see in the picture here, you can see it has a heat ring, but that's not a BSR kind of a handle on it, so I'm guessing it's probably a Lodge. Seems to be a pretty reasonable estimate. Let me get out of here. And I was the only one who bid on it, $9.99, and I got it. And I was tickled to death because the stop the screen here. Get up. There we go. Because these lead molds, I've seen them go Lyman branded ones. Lyman, if you do anything with firearms, you've probably heard of Lyman. They make gun sights, reloading supplies, pretty much anything related to firearms other than firearms themselves. But Lyman lead molds, I've seen go 30, 40, 50 bucks for these. This one is a Seco, Saeco, and it's a nice little mold. I'll get that cleaned up. But I was tickled to death to get that for 10 bucks, and that's what I was really going for. The other skillets are just kind of a bonus, and that's that Pioneer Woman. Like I said, they're a decent brand. They're nothing fantastic, but they ain't bad. The quality kind of varies on them. This one is pretty good. I've seen some that were really pretty rough. But what was much more than I bargained for was this little number 3 skillet. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a faint number 3 on the handle underneath the crud. So when I unpacked it, I noticed that. It's probably not a Lodge. I wonder what it could be. Flipped it over and was tickled to no end to see that. Now, does everybody know what that is? The Pioneer Woman's skillet goes in the give it away pile. Yeah, they're easy to find. They're inexpensive. They're not bad cookers. And, nothing really. Hamburger logo number 3. And a little bit more than that, if you notice the orientation of the Martin, it should be the other way around. So yeah, I'll be tickled to death to get that cleaned up. That should be a Monday morning skillet. Usually, like I said, the logo is flipped the other way around. Now, the story as it goes, according to the head of the Martin factory at the time, the casting foreman came in one Monday morning, hungover as hell, and Martin used a system similar to Favorite. The logo was on a separate plate that would be inset into the pattern. Yes, I see you there. But anyway, the plate would be separate from the pattern because the lettering tended to wear out first, and it was a lot easier just to pop the plate out, pop a new plate in, than it was to rework a whole pattern. Anyway, the casting foreman came in, hung over one Monday morning, put a bunch of the logo plates in upside down. So they call them Monday morning skillets because at the time, normally they would read with the handle down, they would read correctly, but that's upside down to normal. So for 10 bucks, well, it was 25 bucks altogether. So I figure out $8 and change a piece. I got a number 3 Martin Monday morning skillet. So I was tickled to death. I mean, that was just something you don't expect to find. Definitely would have went more for that if you could have seen what it was in the pictures. And that's just plain dumb luck that you get something like that. But every once in a while, kind of nice to have a little dumb luck. And even though I was tickled to get that for $10, that kind of overshadows it a little bit. And I got an 8-inch Pioneer Woman skillet along with it, which I'll probably give away or sell off, move around. But yeah, you don't normally see that sort of thing just happening every day, but it's kind of nice when it does. Let me turn off this thing down here and get back. That's the wrong one. I don't want to turn off the monitor I'm using. But anyway, I think I'll next week I'll go through some of the I've been saving up a bunch of things on the Goodwill site, some of the more expensive things that have been floating around lately. You looked at that 2 or 3 times. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised that I was the only one that bid on it. Usually, there's pretty good bidding for those for lead ingot molds like that. I wasn't going to pay a whole lot. I only bid $16 and change for my max bid, and turned out I was the only one who bid on it. And like I say, the Lyman ones seem to go for a pretty fair bit of money when they come around. Monday morning skillets are ahead of their time. Yeah, nowadays pretty much everybody has the logos oriented the other way, so it reads right side up when it's hanging from the handle. But yeah, just being a Martin to begin with, and being a Monday morning skillet besides, that was really a good bit of fortune. If you're gonna do a giveaway, we should probably just mail it to Cynthia. Yeah, Martins are heavy. Yeah, that was one of their big selling points. Some people preferred heavier skillets. The big heavy, big solid piece of iron that's never gonna break, warp, or wear out. So that was one of their big selling points. Martin and Lodge, all through their history, tended to be heavier than everybody else. And I should have taken my glasses off. Now I can't see. It was meant to be yours. Yeah, I mean, I was tickled to death. You were looking hard at that little skillet, but couldn't see anything different. Yeah, it like I said, I assumed it was Lodge, because it was, you could see the heat ring on it, and you could see the handle. It wasn't a BSR, so yeah, I just assumed it was going to be a little 3-notch Lodge or something like along those lines. Heavy skillets are good for campfire cooking and blackened fish. Yeah, you can use either type of light skillet or a heavy skillet for all cooking, but I find that heavy skillets tend to do a little better in the oven or on an open fire, like a campfire, but they tend to be a little better for baking, where lighter skillets tend to do a little better for searing, but both work good. So use a Lodge or BSR, not a Martin, too valuable. Yeah, the Martins are popular. I mean, there's quite a bit of demand for Martins. When you looked at the post, looked like it had it scooped, so I knew it was going to be a good one. Yeah, you couldn't really see very much of it, and even now, just unless you looked at it, you probably wouldn't, especially from the side or something like that, unless you could look square onto it, you can't really see the Martin. You can only see the top part of the logo. The rest of it's still buried. But as soon as we're done here, I'll get that into the lye bath, get her cleaned up. I'll probably end up sandblasting that that lead mold. You're given a Puritan and a mystery. Mystery is so caked up you have no idea what it is. The mysteries are fun a lot of times. I mean, it's surprising sometimes what you end up with. Help me out here. Where do you go on the Goodwill website to get more than your local area? I only get 1 or 2 pages. I'm not quite sure. You might be looking a lot of there's a lot of regional Goodwill. You know, they're kind of broke down by state and different areas. If you go to shopgoodwill.com, you know, the shop Goodwill is all one word. They cover pretty much everybody. Yeah, Billy's got it up there, www.shopgoodwill.com. Yeah, they're from all over they list stuff from all over the country. It gets shipped out from whatever local Goodwill listed it. Came across a Martin at a flea market one time, but left it behind. Still regretting it to this day. Yeah, I very seldom see them around here. I did get one a couple of years ago. I think it was number 5. That's pretty much the only Martin I've seen in my area. You know, you can find them on eBay and whatnot. You know, different auction sites. And they come up once in a while on the Goodwill site. You'll come across one, but not very regular. It seems like there'll be 2 or 3 of them come up all at once, and you won't see any for another 2 or 3 months. But yeah, there's quite a bit of demand for Martins, so the prices are usually fairly high. Still looking for Martin number 6. Yeah, I don't know enough about Martins to know if that's a really uncommon one, more uncommon than Martins in general. But yeah, it could be. You ain't using the phone for anything like that. The screen is too small. Yeah, I'm probably one of the few people who don't live on my phone these days. I have a smartphone. I finally had to break down and get rid of just my little flip phone because the company I work for would email out they would send out a text of your schedule for the next week where you were going to be working, and just couldn't quite make it big enough on a 1 inch by 1.5 inch screen. So I had to get an actual smartphone where I could enlarge it enough to see what I had to do. But yeah, I barely use the damn thing. About the only thing I use it for is, as a phone. And I hardly use it for that. So, but yeah, most things are too small or, just too fiddly on a phone to really use it. I much prefer doing something on a desktop or a laptop where you can actually see things and navigate a little bit easier. Hemingway, you meant by. Did I keep my number? Yeah, I've had the same cell phone number for got probably 15, 20 years almost now. And I very seldom text anybody because it never made any sense to me. You have a phone in your hand, why in the hell are you typing instead of just talking? I hit zoom, then screenshot it, and then zoom in again. Nah. They use a 3,500 line spreadsheet for work. The internet was down, had to mirror the phone to TV screen to see anything for a conference call. Yeah, it was kind of the same thing when I finally broke down and got an actual smartphone. Of course, it's just a $30 track phone. You know, you just buy time every month for it for $20, and that's all I really need it for. But yeah, I mean, there's no way in hell you could see the schedule on my old phone. I mean, it's just right, how cell phones used to be before there were smartphones. It had the screen is about an inch by inch and a half on it. You could text, but you had to use the number keypad. You know, the old style phone keypads where one is A and B and C, and that was really a pain in the ass. So I never picked up the habit of texting. Like I said, I never saw the point of texting when you could just be talking on the damn thing. But I use it once in a while for listening to podcasts and things like that. That's really about it. So I'm just something of a Luddite, I guess. Nice to be able to sell. Nice to be able to send pictures. Yeah, that's probably the only other thing I use it for. I've posted some pictures from it to Facebook and take pictures with it that I've used here and there. Tablets are a lifesaver for those of us getting older. Yay for tablets. I've been thinking about getting a tablet just because it's got a bigger screen for when I want to watch YouTube videos on it. Texting is great for group chats. Yeah, it's good for that sort of thing, like setting up your bi-weekly poker game. Yeah. All this talk about phone screens is showing our age. Yeah, for those of us who lived out in the boonies, a lot of us are old enough to remember party lines yet. When I was a kid, we still had a party line. You could pick up the phone and hear what the neighbors were saying. And we've come so far advanced that here we are basically on a party line with video. That's about the only difference, really. Came across a Magic Chef old gas stove from back in the 30s at an antique shop. Would 325 be too much? Probably not. I mean, if it's in decent shape, if it works, is the big thing. You can rebuild them, but you have to know what you're doing if you're going to play around with the burners, because otherwise you're building a bomb. But if it's functional and in good shape, if you can get it cheaper, I certainly would. But 325 isn't really out of line if it's something that's usable. And a lot of them old gas stoves, were pretty interesting looking stoves. I mean, maybe someday I'll end up with something like that for using in the summer, when I'm not, instead of the electric stove that I got now. Where's the rotary dial app for the smartphone? Yeah. Yeah, we came so far now you have to dial the area code and the full number. It used to be if it was a local call, you just dial the last four digits, or dial 4 and the last four digits, and it puts you right through. Now even a local call, you have to dial 10 numbers, 10 digits to make a phone call. Ah, well. You had one too. Sometimes the party line was active. Yeah, we had one when I was a kid. I remember when they finally got around to giving everybody individual numbers. Yeah, if the porcelain's in good shape, everything else can be rebuilt. Yeah, like I said, it definitely can be done, but if it's working now, 325 probably not too bad. I'm not really up on gas stoves, but pretty much any stove nowadays, 325 is a pretty good price. You're the only bidder on 2 lids at Dickey's. One handle is broken. Do you think that's fixable? I intend to find out because where is it? It's right here. Tripping over stuff. Because I have exactly that problem, and this is a project I've been meaning to get to before too long. That's a Crescent Ozark lid. I've got the Dutch oven over there that it goes to. Nice big one. I think that's a number 10. But that's a beehive. If somebody says it has a beehive style lid, that's what they're talking about, is a lid that looks like that. And it got dropped and knocked a chunk out of the handle. There's a couple of cracks in it. You can just see one there next to the handle. But I'm not going to mess with those. They don't run out to the edge, and it sounds fairly good. It'd probably be a little bit more of a risk trying to fix those than it would be not just leaving them. But I'm pretty sure I can fix that. And I'll give it a try, and we'll see how it goes. That's one of the welding projects I've got lined up, but still haven't got around to yet. Do you have all the parts? For this one here, I don't. I don't know what Tessa had. She did. You did. No, I think of it. Tessa did put up a picture of it. It's missing that chunk out of hers too, I think. Why can't we send pictures in chat here? Because YouTube doesn't let you. Yeah, that's the only reason why. But yeah, it's definitely going to be one of my projects, is trying to do that. The way I would do it is weld a little bit on one side and then a little bit on the other, and you just keep kind of building it up and bridge it across eventually. Lay a little bead on either end. Remember just yelling to the neighbors down the road. Yeah, in my day, we used to have to send carrier pigeons if we wanted to talk to the neighbors. What in the world you do with no call waiting? Couldn't get on our parents' phones. They say get off the phone. Somebody might be trying to call you. Oh yeah, you just pick up the phone and not know who was on the other end. All the caller ID and call waiting and all that sort of thing. Just pull the skillet out of the lye bath and found out it's a number 9 large logo Griswold. Cool. It's always fun to find out, see what's underneath all the crud when you can usually get a rough idea of what something is just by looking at it, even though you can't see any markings on it. Or you can at least eliminate a few things that it's not. I mean, the BSR handle is a pretty obvious sort of thing. And, heat rings and whatnot. I mean, you can eliminate some possibilities, but it's always fun to find something that you just don't know what it is and make the big discovery. The gas line and venturis need to be clean and have no holes. Put air through it. Gas has a high water content and can lead to small rust holes. Yeah, you definitely want to have something like that if you're not comfortable doing it, you have a professional look at it. And you also have to make sure that it's set up right for if you have propane or natural gas, because it's different orifices in it for natural gas and propane. Tried on open chat, but none of us knew or could figure it out. We're gonna have to do that again soon. It was kind of fun. Thanks for the advice. Now if you can talk the wife into letting you have some money. Yeah, it's always the hardest part of any deal, coming up with the funding for it. Your neighborhood is right between Southern Bell and Verizon service. To call 5 houses down was a long distance call. Yeah, there's our local calling area is kind of oddly shaped. I know a fellow used to work for a guy. You could see the next town over from his house, but it was local for me. And you could call the way it was laid out, a local call. I could call someplace about 30 miles away and it was a local call, but 10 miles up the road is long distance. Just the weird way the calling areas work out sometimes. Let's see here. Running propane through a natural gas stove will lead to a hot burner. Yeah, you have to have. I'm trying to remember. I think propane has a lot bigger. Maybe it's the other way around. One of them has a lot bigger orifice to allow more gas through than the other. So, I'm trying to remember which is bigger, which is smaller. I think the natural gas has a larger orifice in it than the propane, but don't take my word for it. Let's see. Did I see the number 12 century BSR you found in an antique mall? Wonder what the value for something like that would be. 12s usually go around 125, somewhere in there. It varies, but I've seen them sell as low as 75 or 80 and as high as 100, or 150. But generally, the 12s around 120, 125. They're not common, but they're not rare either. So if you can get one for $100 or so, $100 or less, you're doing pretty good. It's probably still there, been for a few weeks. Yeah, if they only want 45 for it, assuming it's not cracked or something, 45 for it's a hell of a good price. Just restored a BSR 12 with a rare knob lid. Talked the guy down from 45 to 35. Propane is smaller, natural gas is less BTUs per pound. Yeah, I couldn't remember which way. So yeah, natural gas would have to have a larger orifice because it has less BTUs. Damn it. Got a tickle in my nose. It just driving me absolutely nuts. The cat was on the keyboard and yours inadvertently got locked in the bathroom. I don't know where she went, but at least she isn't bothering me right now. And I'm constantly forgetting to turn the switch off on the keyboard, and the cat will hit random stuff on there on me because just where she's got to be. Is my floor reinforced to hold my heavy stove? No, it isn't, and it's not as heavy as you would think it is. It's actually mostly sheet metal. I mean, it's cast iron frames. All the lighter colored panels you see on that are enameled sheet metal. So, by the time you get done with it, the whole thing is probably about 350 pounds, maybe. So it's not that massive of a weight all in one spot. Let's see, nose tickle the cat here. Could be, but could also be you always get that one mustache hair that wants to go rogue and decide to turn upwards and just tickle the edge of your nose and drive you nuts until you manage to clip it off. Leanne's here. Good to see you. It definitely rang. Didn't seem to have any cracks. Did have embedded cat hair stuck inside it. Well, lye bath will take care of that usually. Thinking of going live maybe Friday to announce September, huh? Huh. I have to think if I have time to do anything with that. Do a video for September. I did your trim just before the show. Yeah, Bill has that mustache issue from time to time. Yeah, it's always that one little hair and the damn thing decides it's gonna curl itself upwards all of a sudden. My beard looks great. Oh, thank you. Been a while since I trimmed it. Hair is starting to get long again, so I'm probably gonna have to trim them both here before too long. Hope I don't get termites below the stove. I hope I don't get termites anywhere, but below the stove, I'd definitely know about them first. Have I heard of Prepid cast iron made in California? Not. No, I don't think so. It doesn't ring any bells. But there's a couple of foundries in California. Renfro Air out of L.A. and I'm pretty sure AB&I, American Brass and Iron, is in California. I could be wrong, but I think they are. Yes, indeed. Anyway, yeah. As soon as we get done here, I'll throw that little Martin skillet in the lye bath, and we'll get to see it next week. At least get it stripped off. If not all done. Rick Stambaugh, good to see you, Rick. Anyone have any info about Marion? Uh, Other than they usually go for a pretty good price when you see them for sale, not really. But I've seen Marion skillets around, but I don't really know anything about them other than, like I say, they usually go for pretty good money when you come across. Prepped are expensive. Yeah, I've never seen them, so I don't know anything about prepped either. But I'm sure somebody around here does know a bit more about Marions. Like I say, I've seen them around, and yeah. Other than that, I don't really know all that much about them. The AB&I foundry in East Oakland is closing and moving to Texas. About 200 union workers, many from East Oakland residents, work at the foundry. Well, I guess they're not going to be in California anymore. And Renfro, they went out of business in the I think mid '80s or so. They finally closed up. They were mostly an industrial foundry, making cast iron parts and castings for industrial purposes, and the cookware was kind of a sideline because, well, why not? You got a foundry, you might as well see if you can sell some pots and pans. That was from 2022. Well, they probably moved by then already. Got to set up the live yet and figure out a time. You haven't gone live since April. Yeah, it's surprising how fast you forget how these little odds and ends work. Should be able to blunder through it pretty good, but there's always something you're forgetting that you would have made things a lot easier when you go live. Are you still making that vanilla extract? I'm not sure who it was. Yeah, I make my own. Just take about a dozen vanilla beans. I usually cut them in half, put them in a Grolsch beer bottle, and fill it up with bourbon. You can use vodka, but the bourbon gives it a lot more flavor. And then just let it soak for about 6 months, and you can start using it. Picked up an Erie First Series number 12 with grinding marks on the inside surface. All the other Eries are very smooth. I assume the pan is before they figure out how to finish the insides. Yeah, it could be, or it could be somebody has reground it over the years and messed it up, because most of the older Eries are known for being smooth. But yeah, maybe the First Series, they may have changed up their process. But like I say, it could be somebody else. It might have happened after it left the factory too. You do too, Mud, but you have to try the bourbon. Cinnamon extract is really good too. I think I did a video on that, or it might be on Facebook. But with that, you have to take with vanilla, you just leave the beans right in the bottle until they fall apart, however long that takes. But with cinnamon, you use cinnamon sticks and vodka, but you don't want to leave them in there for more than 10 or 12 weeks, because they'll start to extract things from the cinnamon bark that taste bad. You'll start getting bitter. What kind of beer bottle? Yeah, I use Grolsch bottles, because let me grab one here. My cinnamon should be sitting right here. Because they have the stopper on them. Is that the cinnamon, or is that? But this must be cinnamon. Yeah, that's cinnamon extract. It's dusty too. I had a towel here, a little dusty sitting there, but Grolsch, they're probably see it better on the lid there. They're a Dutch beer, and yeah, they have the nice little built-in stoppers with a rubber seal on it. You just drink your beer, and you can reuse the bottle for things like that. Yeah, you can reuse the vanilla beans over and over. Yeah, you just leave them right in there, and it starts getting low. You can just add more bourbon, or if you want to, you can get 2 bottles going in rotation. When one gets about half down, fill it up with bourbon, set it aside, and then use the other one. Never seen that beer before? Oh yeah, it's been around for quite a while. It's like I say, it's a Dutch beer. The ones with the fancy bottles cost a little bit more, but they also make Grolsch. This has a twist top on it. But a lot of home brewers use those too. You can get new seals for the little stoppers. It's a porcelain stopper, and you can get new seals at most homebrew shops because, like I say, they're popular with home brewers too. Yeah, beans from Uganda and Kraken silver rum. Well, that's probably pretty good too. I bet your rum would really taste good. Most people use vodka, because the vodka doesn't impart a flavor to whatever you're extracting, but things like bourbon do, and bourbon vanilla is really good. Like I said, this is cinnamon extract. I don't have anything clear to pour it in, but it's got a really nice bright red color to it. Pretty slick looking stuff, and it definitely smells like cinnamon. You look for that, usually focus on PBR. Yeah, it's good. It's a fairly good beer. I'm not really a big beer drinker, but it's pretty good. What do you cook with that? There's a lot of different things that you'd use cinnamon in. You can use cinnamon extract. A lot of baking, things like that. Let's see here. Your doctor won't let you have beer anymore. It's a shame. You should probably get a new doctor then. Doctor says I should quit drinking, but I know a lot more old drunks than I do old doctors. Kahlua under the sink was popular in the 70s. Let's see here, back up. But yeah, I bet rum vanilla would be good too. Anyway, we're getting towards the end of the show here. Yeah, so next week I'll have that little Martin cleaned up, and get to see what that looks like underneath all the stuff. And next week we will do have a look at some of the prices, some of the more expensive things that have been floating around on the Goodwill auction site lately. I think I'll start keeping track of some Magnolite, some aluminum ware again, just to see how that's going. Seems to have come down on a lot of stuff. There's still a few pieces you see, especially if it's really bright and shiny. They're still getting pretty good prices, but the prices seem to have eased up a bit on at least on the oval roasters. Kraken is a black spiced rum, but silver rum imparts a sweeter extract. Like I said, it sounds good. Might have to try it one of these days. I'd buy the beer just for the bottle. Yeah, that's actually what I did for these. I think the ones with porcelain stoppers usually come in a 4-pack, but I got a couple of empties up in the cupboard waiting for my next extraction project. Anyway, let's see here. Anyway, yeah, like I said, next week we'll take a look at some of the things that have sold for bigger money. There's a Griswold 14 on Goodwill right now. Yeah, I think I got that one. Got that one saved. There's one that sold a few weeks ago. A little rustier, a little nastier shape than the one that's on there now. But that went for I think $500 and change for that. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what one that's a little bit nicer goes for. Anyhow, like I said, I'll see you guys next week. Things should be a little better organized next time around, but we'll see how it works out. And I'll see you guys then. Hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you guys later. I really got to work out a decent ending line.